How was Lightning Rod? Wow. What a loaded question. Let me get back to that one. Dwayne, no, I'm not growing the beard again. I just haven't shaved since about Wednesday or Thursday. I'll probably shave tomorrow morning before work. It's getting to the point where it's like annoying and like scratchy. So that's about when I need to shave. So yeah, beard's probably gonna be gone for the show tomorrow night. So uptime. So Josh, good question. Uptime for Lightning Rod again. I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about Lightning Rod tonight. Andy and I are gonna probably do a show tomorrow night and talk about it more in depth. But the uptime for Lightning Rod was spotty. Saturday it was up for most of the day. It was pretty good. Sunday opened late, then it was down when we went back later in the day, and it then stormed about 3:30. Well, about 3 o'clock, 3:30, it stormed very badly for quite a few hours. When I left the park on Sunday about 4 o'clock to head back to the airport, it was pouring down rain, thunder and lightning for the rest of the evening, so my guess is Sunday it was probably down mostly due to weather. So, yes, exactly, shaving uncut. So, Trenton, night ride on Lightning Rod. No, I did not. It actually shut down on Saturday about 9 o'clock for a mechanical issue and did not reopen, so I'll have something to look forward to, I guess, for the next trip down there. No night rides, but did get 5 overall. So, again, I'm not going to give much of a review on it. We're going to leave that for the show tomorrow night a little bit more. Well, Adam, that's kind of what I said about, you know, it'd be funny if the ride actually got hit by lightning because you know, that's kind of what its name is, right? So, we probably should be able to have that fixed, but at any rate, not running in the weather. Talk about Dizzy Disc. Dizzy Disc. Did not ride the Dizzy Disc this weekend, actually. I was focusing mainly on just trying to get a couple of extra rides on Lightning Rod, doing all the coasters again. Actually left on Saturday afternoon for a few hours to... Actually left on a few hours Saturday to head down to the NASCAR Speed Park and actually got the coaster credit there. I know that's a very tough thing to do. That coaster typically has a lot of issues and a lot of the times is not running, but we did get to ride that coaster. Got to do a bunch of the go-karts there. Very fun, very good time. Only $25 to get in. And you get everything with that. You get the rides, you get all the go-kart tracks. Spent like 2 hours there or so. Didn't do all the tracks. Did a couple of them. Did the coaster. Went in and out. Some of the tracks are some of the tracks are for kids and families. They're smaller, but we did the big track, which is like 1/8 of a mile with like the enclosed cars that actually look like the NASCARs, and you got to put a helmet on and everything. So we did do that one. We did the Young Champions track, which is I believe their longest track aside from the big oval track. It's about 1,100 feet long, I believe. So we did that one. They had a slick track that's really cool. I always love the slick tracks because you can do power slides, and I'm a dirt car race fan myself. The big dirt car racing series is based up here in the Northeast, so I get to see them a couple times a year. So I really like the whole power sliding aspect of it. You'll have to excuse me. You have to excuse me a little bit if I seem a little distracted here and keep looking over to my TV because we got Red Sox Yankees going on, and then at 9:30 we've got the Olympics, Michael Phelps swimming, which I do want to watch. So that'll be an exciting couple minutes there. Yeah, I did not know this. Apparently, Dwayne has a lot of history with racing go-karts. I was not aware of this, but So I don't know if Dwayne in the chat, if you want to maybe tell people about that, but apparently Dwayne has had a good amount of experience. Trenton, you're moving on to Pigeon Forge. That's interesting. Like, how far, like, in Pigeon Forge? Like, I didn't know that there was a whole lot of residential type of stuff there. Like, how far away from the park are you actually going to be right there? That's what I'd be interested to know. Dwayne's getting ready to share his history, sounds like, right here. $5 miles, that's pretty good. Well, you will have a lot of fun with that. Sorry, gotta get out my big whiteboard calendar of coaster trips, and I've gotta update it to see where we're going next. Gotta update it. Haven't updated it this from the weekend yet. Gotta figure out what I'm doing this weekend. I think might be staying kind of local this weekend. Might try and hit up Knoebels and Dorney. Haven't been to Dorney since early in the season, and have not yet been to Knoebels this year. So I think I'm going to try and head to Knoebels. Also going to Knoebels this year for Phoenix Fall Fun Fest. The Coaster Radio gang is having their meetup there, so going to be a huge crowd this year for Phoenix Fall Fun Fest at Knoebels, and I can guarantee you that Andy or Barczyk will not be there. So I know Andy jumped in here not long ago. Don't know if he's still watching, but Dwayne, we're waiting on your go-kart story. You got to let us know your go-kart story, because Andy was telling me about this, and I had no idea. I want to hear about this now. So coaster trip to the East Coast for graduation. That sounds like a good deal. Congratulations on that, for sure. 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for Knoebels on Saturday, so looking forward to that. Ryan, I don't believe he was a carny operating them. If I remember correctly from what Andy told me, it sounds as if Dwayne actually raced go-karts semi-professionally or something like that, and that's why I want to hear what he has to say about this, because I want to hear what this is all about. But can you guys see me okay? Can you hear me okay? Is the feed okay? Because I think what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna start making this live video a weekly thing. Yeah, Trendon, same thing here. I went to engineering school myself, and always looking to get into the industry. So, you know, I have some contacts, so if I ever hear anything, certainly give you a heads up. So that'll be good. 11 a.m. to 10 for Knoebels. And Dorney is 10 to... Oh, Dorney's open till 11. That's really nice. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That'll be good, because then we could actually, you know, go to close there. At least I could. I don't know. Adam, I'll talk to you offline. If you're interested in meeting up this weekend, we'll talk offline a bit more about it. But yeah, it's looking like 10 to 11 on Saturday. It's their last 10 to 11 Saturday of the season. So, yeah, we'll take advantage of that, I think. That'll be good. So, if you folks are in the area, Knoebels or Dorney this weekend, you know, shoot me a message, or, you know, let me know, and maybe we'll grab a couple rides. We'll see. We'll be bouncing around this weekend a little bit. It looks like. We'll see what the weather looks like eventually. But that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, the Talon crew's pretty good. I don't think I know anyone on that Talon crew anymore, unfortunately. But that's okay. So Dollywood in general over the weekend, very good time. I know Andy's not as much of a park fan of Dollywood as I am. I love Dollywood. It's one of my favorite parks, and I will say that Lightning Rod only makes that better. I will say that for sure. Incredible roller coaster. Definitely worth a trip there. However, it's spotty enough, and it went down enough in the time that I was there that I would not recommend making a trip there until it's open for good. And I know it was technically open for good for a little bit and then closed back down again. But I think once it opens again, I think it's going to be, once it's officially open, I think we're going to have it open. So once it's officially open, I think you can start planning your trips there. I don't know if that's going to be this year. I don't know if that's going to be next year. I would recommend at this point probably waiting till next year to really have a good shot at it. But that's just my personal opinion. We booked the trip a few weeks ago, not knowing that it was going to be open. We just happened to get that lucky that it opened on Thursday and was open over the weekend while we were there. So do not. I did not. Neither of us knew anything about when it was going to open. We just got that lucky, and we'll talk a little bit about that on the show tomorrow night when we do it. So Dwayne's got the explanation here. He racing go-karts from 7 to 14. He traveled the country and was on a pro circuit that was indoor and outdoor, and he did slick tracks and won over 70 races. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, the dirt car racing, the big block modifieds is what I like going to see. Those guys are unbelievable. The Super Dirt Car Series is the one that I follow up here in the Northeast. They do a lot of racing here in New York. I believe they're actually racing tonight because I see them on Twitter here. I don't know where they are tonight. I think they're actually nearby here. Yeah, they're only about an hour away from me tonight up in Weedsport. Hold on. Yeah, so they're in Weedsport tonight. I was thinking about going up to see them, but didn't. Got Red Sox Yankees on the TV, and so I am a Red Sox fan, for those of you that don't know, and we'll have the swim race on momentarily. So Dollywood overall, good day. Good day and a half or so. Wild Eagle running fantastic. From Wild Eagle is a favorite of mine. Tennessee Tornado probably running even better. I truly believe that Tennessee Tornado might have the best first drop of one of the best first drops of any coaster in the world. I think Tennessee Tornado's first drop is that good. One of the best oh shit moments, as I like to call them, just the surprising moments that you're not expecting. I think really, yeah, the Wild Eagle song. I love that Wild Eagle song. A lot of fun. Two great coasters. Mystery Mine was closed all day Saturday. Did open on Sunday. Rode it once on Sunday. Banged me around a little bit. It's a little bit better up front for sure. You get more of the visuals. You see everything. The fire was working. But great airtime on the two main drops, I guess. Theming pretty much all working. The video screen of the collapsing oil derrick, mine shaft thing was not working on my ride on the ceiling. However, the fire was working, so I'll take the fire over the video screen. That's okay. Got good ride on Mystery Mine. Thunderhead running what I consider to be fantastic. I love Thunderhead. I know a lot of the folks on this site maybe don't share that opinion with me. I know Andy does not. I know Dwayne, and correct me if I'm wrong, not a huge Thunderhead fan either. I know Brian Bass is a Thunderhead fan. Lightning Rod was great again. Road Blazing Fury, Road Mountain Slidewinder. It was the first time that Andy's been on Mountain Slidewinder. Mountain Slidewinder is actually a very fun attraction, I think. I think it's a lot of fun. Really unique. I'm surprised that it's not there. Or I'm surprised that it's still there. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out very shortly. But right now, Mountain Slidewinder is a ride that I very much enjoy. Barnstormer, great ride. Did not ride the Log Flume. Probably should have, but did not do it this time around. Got some cinnamon bread. We're, spent some extra time riding Lightning Rod while it was open. Ryan, you can't ride Mystic Timbers yet. That's not fair. You can't do that. So, hey, Juan, we got a viewer from Chile joining in with us today. So that's fun. Gold Striker East, Adam Beard. Absolutely. Awesome coaster. Yep, Gristmill got our cinnamon bread with the icing. Had that, so that was fantastic. As always, come to expect great things from there. Just a good time overall. Did not do any of the mountain coasters this time around. Considering a couple of them have recently had incidents, we didn't really check in on operating hours at all. I do believe that Goats and the Gatlinburg one are probably reopened by now. I actually, this is bad of me. Did not even look really. And the Smoky Mountain one, I don't even know if it was open. We didn't drive by it. The Smoky Mountain one just had an incident earlier last week. So I don't know if it was reopened or not, but we had thought about going down the Smoky Mountain one because it's open till 1 a.m. on Saturday. But we did not go, not because of the, not really because of the incident, just because we had done it in March. And, the $15, the discount, I don't think was good for it anymore because it was just that weekend we were there. And having done it in March, and, we had a long day at the park, so we decided to head back to the hotel. Actually, after the park closed, we decided to take a quick detour and stop over at the Dollywood Dreammore Resort and check that out for about an hour and kind of hung out there. Wow, what an awesome place that is. I mean, people talk about how nice Hotel Breakers looks with the refurbishment. Dreammore Resort really kicks the tail off of Hotel Breakers. I mean, what a fantastic place on the inside. It's beautiful, gorgeous, state-of-the-art, couple different pools. It's got fire pits outside. It's got a lot of different amenities. Really looks spectacular. Actually considering going back down sometime in November to Dollywood and possibly staying a night or two there. Brian Cossin, Dollywood trip. We usually stay at the Hampton, which is on Teaster Lane, which is right off of the Parkway, because it's a little quicker to get to and from the park. But because I'm actually looking to close on a house here shortly. So I'm being a little bit more budget friendly this time around, so we actually stayed at the Comfort Inn and Suites, which is basically right across from the turn to go up Dollywood Lane. There's a Quality right there. It's right across from the indoor trampoline park. It's a little bit cheaper, clean, very nice. Would recommend it. The Hamptons are usually a bit more expensive, maybe like 160, 170, 180 a night. The Comfort is a little bit closer to 100 a night. I think it's like 110, 120 or something like that. Depends on if you're a member, AAA, if you're like a Choice Hotels member as well. So we stayed there this time around, and would probably consider staying there again. Considering it is a little cheaper. Didn't have any issues with it. They had a pretty good hot breakfast. That's one of the big things for us, is always looking to make sure that there is a free hot breakfast, because I mean that can go a long way, because our thoughts are, if we eat a big breakfast in the morning, then we usually don't eat lunch until maybe like 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we can eat a big meal then, and then we only have to eat one other meal. So if we can get that free breakfast that's, you know, a good, hot, big breakfast, then we can only eat one meal during the day as opposed to two, so we save a lot of money that way, and we're also not paying for the breakfast. So I think that's how we usually approach it. That's what we did on Saturday. We had breakfast, and then Andy and his wife, I keep saying we, my aunt and I on this trip, and Andy and his wife Margot, we went to Mellow Mushroom on Saturday, and had some awesome Mellow Mushroom pizza. If you guys have been to Pigeon Forge or other areas that in the South that have Mellow Mushroom, you know how awesome Mellow Mushroom is. And then Sunday, we did the breakfast, and then right before we left the park, about 3 o'clock, we went to Aunt Granny's and had the Aunt Granny's buffet there at Dollywood. We had fried chicken, rotisserie chicken, Salisbury steak, taco bar. Great stuff over there at Aunt Granny's. $17, gets all you can eat and the food, and soft serve ice cream for dessert. So, you know, wonderful offering there. Aunt Granny's, and that was kind of how we how the trip wrapped up right there. And that's about when it started storming. I had a lot of issues getting home with the airlines. Actually had to try and change planes leaving Knoxville to make a connection in Charlotte, which I successfully did. Took quite a few delays. And, you know, with the storms going up and down the East Coast on Sunday, that really did it. I did not get back to my house here in New York. I flew into Syracuse. We landed in Syracuse about 2:30 a.m., and by the time I picked up my car, got out of there, and drove the hour and 15 minutes back to my house, I did not get into my bed over there until about 4:30 a.m. and woke up at 7:30 to head into work on Monday. So, you know, got to bed early last night, feeling pretty good. Usually it's not the day right after a trip that you feel, you know, if Sunday's your last day of the trip, it's usually not the Monday you feel tired, it's the Tuesday. And I did not feel exceptionally tired today, during the day today at work, so that's good, and I was encouraged that I did not feel incredibly tired. So a plus there, been doing pretty good there. Yeah, a lot happened this week. Very busy weekend. So did a lot of stuff. Got on lightning rod 5 times overall between Saturday and Sunday. 4 on Saturday with Andy, and then rode once Sunday morning. Was not operating most of the day Sunday. It opened late, and then those storms came in. You know, and it did have a very long line on Sunday. It actually had about a 45-minute wait. Shortly after we rode it, we were on one of the first trains out because we were in line for it. We were waiting for it because they had said it was going to open. But then we weren't going to wait 45 minutes to an hour for it, knowing that it could possibly go down. So we did do one quick lap around the park, and then we saw the Dreamland Drive-In show, which is you know, their big hour-long show there in Jukebox Junction that they're very famous for at Dollywood. They've won Brass Ring Awards for it before. So we did see that. Fantastic show. Really well done. A lot of 50s and 60s hits there. Yes, Brian Costin, a couple new t-shirts this time around. Got another Lightning Rod one. I already had one Lightning Rod one, and then one that was specific for the Coaster Crew event. So got a Lightning Rod one got a more generic Dollywood one that's got Wild Eagle and Lightning Rod on the back, but it's just a Dollywood shirt. And then also got a new Fire Chaser one because I wasn't planning on getting any other shirts aside from those two, but I saw the Fire Chaser one that I really liked. And Thunderhead, I have a nice Thunderhead shirt. I have a nice Mystery Mine shirt. Got a nice one that has all of them on it prior to Lightning Rod from a few years back. But the Thunderhead and Mystery Mine stuff has really kind of disappeared. The Fire Chaser stuff is still there. So when I saw the Fire Chaser one that I liked and decided to go for it, since, it was only like 15 bucks. And I ended up getting it just because I knew that maybe they won't be there in a few. Yeah, no, I didn't see any Thunderhead shirts. I saw those in 2014. I have not seen them since. Didn't see any on either trip this year. Seats on Lightning Rod, we rode in the front. Oh, here we go. We got Phelps and Leclos in the men's. Oh, false start. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to unmute this. False start. So in my 5 total rides, I got 1 in the back, 1 in row 4, 2 in the very front, and then 1 in row 7. And again, we will kind of analyze. We'll analyze all of that tomorrow. The swimming finals, the 200-meter butterfly, starting right now, so that's why I'm a little quiet here. We will go in depth with our review of Lightning Rod on the show we record tomorrow, which, with any luck, depending on what Andy's doing this week, I don't know what his plans are this week. He might be able to get that. He might be able to get that show up on Friday. I don't know yet, but the plan is to record that tomorrow. We will go fully in-depth with Lightning Rod. We will give you everything you need to know about Lightning Rod. We also did a live video while we were in line for Lightning Rod. It's about a half an hour Facebook live video. If you go to the Facebook page and go to videos, you'll be able to watch that. What we did, we kept the live video going while we were on the ride. However, we put Andy put my phone in his pocket, so you could hear the on-ride audio. There's no video, obviously, because it was in his pocket. We want to abide by the safety rules. But because of the poor reception on that backside of the mountain and how fast we were going, it's actually like you hear us yelling at a buffer. He's yelling buffers, and it's really funny. But you can hear us as we're sitting in the ride, and you can hear us as we get to the brake run, specifically. Phelps and Leclos coming down to the wire here. Kenderesi coming up quick. Michael Phelps winning the gold for the USA. Yes, Brian. Yes, Brian. There is a very famous somewhere. I will actually there is a very famous right where it stops buffering and you hear us. I think you hear me yelling, "Oh shit!" And I believe that is so. When you come off the wave turn, you go into a right-hand turn, which turns you into the left-hand, like, overbank, which they're calling the twist and shout, and then you turn back around. Then there's an opposite banked airtime hill on the other side of that. That's where that was. It was right. It was coming out of that twist and twisting back the other way is where that was. So, yeah, that's where that occurred. And again, we're going to have, gonna have, we wanted to do some on-ride audio later. Did not get a chance to do it. Maybe next time we'll get a chance to do it. Yeah, there is a lot of sideways airtime, which is nice. Again, we'll go more in depth with it tomorrow. Don't want to talk a whole lot about Lightning Rod, the review. Very, very much enjoyed it. I'm actually in the process of looking at my roller coaster rankings right now, trying to decide where it fits in. And I'm not going to tell you guys where that is for now. I will eventually. No problems there. Will eventually. 20th career gold medal for Michael Phelps. Nothing wrong with that. Something else. Oh boy. Let's see here. So, with that kind of wraps up the weekend. So, questions, comments. Again, trying to stay away from lightning rod stuff. Gonna discuss that in depth on the show tomorrow. So if you guys have Dollywood questions, non-Dollywood questions, you know, throw them out there. Trying to stay away from lightning rod stuff. But well, throw in some questions. Probably stay on here for a little bit. You know, what time we got right about now? It's about 9:30. I will stay on here until about 10 o'clock. See what's going on. So if you guys have questions, throw them my way. I even got a ladybug in my room here. King's Dominion getting the green wing coaster. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know that they are. And I really don't have any good reason to say no at this point. I don't really have any good reason to say no, and as to why I don't think it is, I just don't. My gut feeling tells me that they're not getting it. That's just my gut feeling. I could be completely wrong, and like I said, I have no reason to say one way or the other, whether or not, as to why. I just don't think it's happening. That's all I got for you there. I don't think they're getting it. Yeah, that's the weird thing. The $120 million in CapEx, I don't know where that's going. Mystic Timbers, I mean, it depends. It depends on what's in the shed. Hashtag what's in the shed. Because if they're doing some fairly elaborate theming in the shed, that could eat up a lot of it. I would say Mystic Timbers itself, I mean, Mystic Timbers itself might be like a $12 to $15 million ride maximum. I think their second announcement might be like a Plants vs. Zombies or Mass Effect style thing. You know, Carowinds did that this year. They did the big water park expansion and then did Plants vs. Zombies. I'm not quite sure. It's gonna be interesting to see where that all goes. Yeah, I think 20 million for Mystic Timbers is a good number after all the shed nonsense is done with. I got a bug flying around here somewhere. Yeah, after all the shed stuff, I think you're probably looking at between 15 and 20 million. Again, it depends on what they're doing. If they're doing something completely different, then, you know, maybe they spent a lot of money, extra money in development. I think that you got to go back to the In the Loop interview that they recently did with Adam House. And if you believe Adam House, and this is a tough one here, because it depends on, Adam House seemed pretty honest that he didn't know what was going on in the shed. And you would think if it's a drop track or something like that, or like a simulator track, that he would know about it, and he usually downplays it. And, you know, if he knows something but doesn't want, I don't know how many people know Adam House. If you know Adam House from his In the Loop days, then you know that when he knows something and isn't allowed to talk about it or doesn't want to talk about it, he's kind of like, well, you know, blah, 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 you know, he kind of plays off, and it's like, you know, oh, the park, we're going to let the park announce stuff when they want. He sounded like he genuinely did not know what was in the shed. So that makes me think it may not be drop track. It may just be a lot of theming. I don't think it's going to be a launch. It just makes, to me, it just seems like there might just be a lot of theming and maybe a big animatronic tree or something. Yeah, exactly, Adam. It's pretty obvious when Adam House knows what something is and isn't allowed to talk about it. And I don't think, I am not convinced at all that he knows, which would make me think that it's just some theming. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Casey did like Lightning Rod. He was gonna ride it, but it was closed because of the party thing. Yes, we enjoyed Lightning Rod very, very much, and in fact, as I was mentioning earlier in the video here, we're not going to talk a whole lot Lightning Rod here. We talked a little bit at the beginning. We did enjoy it very, very much. We are going to give our full review of it on a show that Andy and I will record tomorrow night. Maybe that show will be ready by Friday. I'll have to talk to Andy. I'll have to talk to Andy and see what he wants to do. See how quickly he will be able to get the show up and running. But we may have that for you as soon as Friday. I think that's the goal. We will record it tomorrow night, and we will see what we can do as far as that goes. See what we can do as far as... Sorry, I had a fly in here. I had to get him. So we'll see what we can do as far as getting the Lightning Rod show ready for you guys by Friday. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We'll give our full review, talk about all the different seats we rode. We'll break down all the little nuances. We'll maybe even talk about where we decided to rank it, which we have decided. So, let me go check one thing here. But by show of hands in the chat room, who watching this right now has ridden Lightning Rod? I know Adam Beard has. Has anyone else who's currently watching ridden Lightning Rod this year? Show of hands. Ryan Wilcox puts hand down. Not yet. So, I think it's going to be interesting. The interesting thing with Lightning Rod is going to be the Thrilling 32. And why I think that will be interesting this year is the fact that not a lot of people have gotten to ride it. I think if a lot of people rode it, I think if enough people rode it, I think enough people ranked it highly that it might become like Fury, where, you know, everyone who's ridden it, mostly everyone who's ridden it. I do know people who aren't big Fury fans. I don't understand those people. But there are people who supposedly really, you know, I've heard of a handful of people that did not like Lightning Rod as much as others. However, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Hold on a second, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Yes. Anyways, sorry about that. So I have heard of a few folks who have ridden Lightning Rod that did not fully enjoy it. Most people I know have enjoyed it. It's going to be interesting to see where it ends up is as part of the Thrilling 32, purely because so few people have ridden it at this point. And I don't know. I'm sure enough people have ridden it that it will qualify. I think the question is going to be how it gets hurt. Because if, you know, the people who did not like it as much will have the vote weighted more because less people have ridden it. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. People decided they don't like it. Well, so I think the thing is Lightning Rod is very aggressive, and in that sense, it's much like Intimidator 305 and Maverick, and those are rides that not everybody enjoys. So if you're not a Maverick fan, if you're not an Intimidator 305 fan, I do not expect you to be a Lightning Rod fan because it's in that genre. So that's all I'll really say about that until we get to the show tomorrow. That's kind of my thought there on the people who don't like it, but we'll see. So, I don't know. Other questions, guys? Send them in. Type them in the chat room there. What time we got here? 9:04. Just stay on for about 15 more minutes. Answer some questions. Again, we're gonna do our show tomorrow night. I think what we're gonna do is every Monday, probably on Monday, because we don't want to. I'm doing this right now on Tuesday because I know Coaster Radio isn't recording tonight, and I know some of the Coaster Radio folks are able to watch here, but on Monday nights, I think we're probably going to do a Facebook Live thing here, and each Monday, unless we're on a trip or it's a holiday or something, then maybe we'll bump it out to like a Wednesday. But I think we're going to do like a week in review, kind of review, maybe sort of like a trip report thing, you know, what Andy and I have done, or what I have done, what Andy has done, depending on what thought it, you know, I don't know how we're going to do it just yet. Probably do Facebook Live, just talk about what we did over the weekend, and then we'll probably end up posting it to YouTube as a video. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll have live chat here, we'll have some discussion, maybe talk about some news, and then in the off season, maybe it won't be all the time, but we'll see. Reese's, yeah, I got these little mini Reese's here. It's up there. I also enjoy Take 5s because you got the pretzel aspect, so you got some sweet and savory in there. Take 5s are harder to find now, but Take 5s are probably my favorite. Reese's right up there, though, for sure. Also, wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the new COASTER-net. We launched that yesterday, the new COASTER-net.com. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that, what you guys think. There's a lot of information on it. We've got the scrolling news and blog feed there on the front. We've got all the recent COASTER-net TV posts. So you've got Uncut, you've got the Beat the Beast there. Adam, we've got the Uncut, Beat the Beast, the top 5. We've got all that stuff. We've got the news, and this is all run through Weebly. So we've got the archive news that's been transferred over from the old site. We've also got it sorted by category there. Yes, Pokemon Go. Actually, we'll talk about Pokemon Go for a minute in a couple seconds. We've got the blogs here. Not a whole lot of blogs recently. You know, we've found that the YouTube is actually kind of a better place for us to do our blog type stuff. But if you guys have blogs, you know, send them our way if they're good. You know, maybe we'll throw some up there. The park gallery in general has not changed a whole lot. It's still set up alphabetically. There is no ride gallery per se now. It's the park gallery. So lot of parks on here, and then we've got information on some of the more well-known coasters at each park. I'm looking at Adventure City. We've got Rewind Racers on there. Say that 5 times fast. Rewind Racers. Go down to Dollywood. We've got Blazing Fury. We've got Fire Chaser Express. We've got Lightning Rod, Mystery Mine, Tennessee Tornado, Thunderhead, and Wild Eagle. No Sideshow Spin information as of right now, but we've got the each page has its own header photo, which is really nice. And a shout out to Dwayne there. Dwayne, Daniel, and Andy. Full disclosure, I did not do a whole lot of the new site stuff. A lot of the new site design was taking place while I was finishing up school and getting settled in with the job here. So Daniel, Dwayne, and Andy did a phenomenal job with the new site, and I'm kind of working my way through it. As Daniel said right here, there is no specific ride gallery list. What you do, you go to the park gallery, and then the ride articles are all listed on the sidebar there once you get into the park. Yes, Mr. Chester and Water Parker also did a lot of the articles. For you folks overseas, we are still looking for, it's not complete yet. There's still a lot of parks that we still have to finish up. We have to add information for. So if you've been to some overseas parks, let us know. And if you have pictures, for sure, we're looking for pictures. You want to try and do some park gallery articles for us, we can certainly try and do that. But yeah, I think the general idea is that people really like the park galleries and the ride galleries of the old site, and it's something we debated a lot on how we, what we wanted the new site to be, and I think the general thought was people like reading about parks, people like talking about parks, they like reading, they like looking at pictures, and we wanted to keep that because that was something that I think always made COASTER-net unique, is the fact that we had all of these, it wasn't just a photo site, it was an information site, and it was a forum site, but it also had the photos and the articles about the specific parks, which I think people like. So we decided, we elected to keep that. But the site was always really nice looking. Devin, originally, when he created it, it's really looked the same since its inception, and I think the general thought was it looked very 90s. And I think there was nothing wrong with the site, really. I think we just wanted to update it and kind of bring it into 2015, 2016, and I think the update has really modernized the look of it, and I think it's made it pretty easy to I don't think it's any more difficult to navigate than the old site. I think it's very user-friendly from what I've seen so far, and it's still, at the core, it's still what the old COASTER-net was, and it just looks a little different, but I don't think it's any more difficult to navigate. So we've got, depending on how wide your screen is, you may see more options than others, depending on the width of your screen. So whatever you can't see at the top of the bar, you will be able to see if you click on more. You will be able to see all the other things. So we've got home, news, blogs, parks, quiz, videos, Hauniverse, forums. If you click forums, it'll take you right to the new forums now, which is nice. You do have to register on the new forums to be able to post, and it does not carry over your old forum account. So if you were on the old forums and have not registered for the new forums, you will have to do so before you can post. You can vote in our tournament of logos right now, actually. So that's going on right now, so that's a lot of fun. We're in the final 8, I believe. We need to get it down to the final 4. I think that'll be wrapping up soon, so do that shortly as well. We've still got the store, we've got the About, and we've got a few other links. We've got Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube on the other links. you know, I think we're really pleased with it, and you know, we're looking for feedback. So if you guys got feedback on the new site, let us know. Under videos, we've got a page for COASTER-net Uncut, so we've got links to every single one of our videos. The last 2 aren't up there yet because we've been focused on getting it rolled out, but that will be updated shortly. So the last 2 aren't up there quite yet. We've got a page for Beat the Beast, the COASTER-net Top 5, Q-Line Conversation. We've got a page specific for all the reverse POVs that we've done over the years. So we've got Valraven, Justice League, Outlaw Run, which you got Brian Bass and Daniel Westfall. They're ugly mugs there on that ride. We got Daniel on Tempesto as well. We've got Dwayne on Holiday World's Thunderbird. We've got Kane on the Lake Erie Eagles. We've got Brian and Devin on Gatekeeper. We also have myself and Andy on Gatekeeper. We've got Slingshot. We've got Andy and Kane on Pipe Scream, and then we've got Andy and Dwayne also on Banshee. So we've got a lot of those up there. We've got a page for the Thrilling 32, which right now just has the past winners. One of my projects coming up is going to actually be putting a full breakdown of the full list of 32 on each of those pages eventually. So when it comes time to fill out those brackets, you guys can actually reference the previous year's results. You don't have to go digging for those. We're not going to share that publicly. That's just going to be there for your reference. So you guys watching this now will actually kind of get ahead, you know, keep that in the back of your mind when you're going to fill out your brackets this year. And then, of course, we've got the Beast Uncut, which we've only done 2 episodes of that, where Andy, Dwayne, and I do the combined show. Beast Uncut, we did the 2016 Six Flags stuff, and then we also did Valraven. We will be doing a Beast Uncut episode shortly on Mystic Timbers, so we'll have another one of those up very shortly. Yeah, thanks for the compliments on the new site, guys. I'm glad you guys like it so far, and if you find anything that you don't like about it, you find something, maybe like broken links or something, you know, let us know so we can fix them. Let us know if you don't like something or something's hard to read, if something doesn't look right, and, you know, we'll look into it, and, you know, like I said, it's not 100% done yet. We've been working on it for quite a few months now. It's been in the works for quite some time, probably much longer than you guys realize, but this has been a very, very long process. So it's good, and it's pretty much done now. We've just got to update a few park-specific stuff, a few other things, but generally it's ready to go. So we felt it was time to roll it out. So we're glad that you guys like it so far. And again, if you find anything you don't like or something that doesn't look right, please let us know, and we'll look into it and see if we can make it a little bit better. Hey Thomas, hey Brandon. Cedar Point on the 18th, I have no idea. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know if it's related to Mean Streak or not. I think, you know, if you want to be funny, maybe they're gonna build the world's shortest roller coaster, and it's gonna be 12 inches off the ground, so it's actually going to be a foot. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. But I think you're probably looking at something water park at this point, and maybe there's not a whole lot in store for the Dry Park 2017. I think that might be what's going on. I don't know if there's anything big for the. Don't think there's anything big for the Dry Park at this point yet. If there is RMC of Mean Streak, I'm not so sure that it's 2017 yet. I don't know. We'll find out shortly, right? 10 days. But at this point, I don't really have a good guess for you. Is there another question here? So, Pokemon Go down at Dollywood. Lots of Pokestops. Lots of new different types of Pokemon. Got a lot of really good ones there. A couple Magmars, and really nice Arcanine. an Ivysaur, a few other ones. Got a lot of good ones, a lot of new ones down there. Got a lot of walking in. Hatched a Lapras from a 10K egg, which was good. So for you guys on the Pokemon Go bandwagon, like myself, you know, you kind of get an idea of what's going on there. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed playing it at the park, and didn't distract from the park either. So that's good. So what else you guys got for me? It's almost 10 o'clock here, so I'm gonna sign off shortly. But you guys got any other questions tonight? Again, we'll be recording a show all about Lightning Rod and the weekend at Dollywood in depth tomorrow night. Andy and I will be may do Facebook Live for that tomorrow night, not sure. You would probably only see my side of the conversation, or hear my side of the conversation. But we'll see how that goes. The Parrot coaster, that big wing coaster over there in China. I really like the trains. That's one that I mean, that's one that I've always kind of said, yeah, I want to ride. The question is, how realistic is it that I'm ever going to ride it? I don't know that it's very realistic, but you know, what are you gonna do, right? One that I'd like to ride eventually. Looks like it's a good coaster. Kind of looks like it's Wild Eagle sized up a little bit, and you know, I'm a huge fan of Wild Eagle, so I think that's you know, I think there's a point to be made there. Yes, as Dwayne said, we're starting to add foreign parks to the site. So if you've been to foreign parks, you know, let us know, and if you might be able to help us out with that, with specifically photos and maybe like park summaries. I think that's kind of what we're looking for. So I think there's yeah, the Mountain Flyer and the yeah, those two GCIs in China. That's always been foreign FECs. I think we're gonna stop short of that, Ryan. I think we're gonna stop short of the foreign FECs at this point. Yeah, wooden coaster Fireball. That's it. That's a nice looking coaster too. And I must admit. Yeah, the big gravity group coasters, it's kind of sad that we haven't seen more of those. I think they did so much while at Custom Coasters. I think they realized that they just need to kind of chill out and not do anything huge. Yeah, Ledecky's a beast, for sure. Just destroying. I now have a Mr. Goodbar. If any of you guys remember those. Good stuff. Yes, dark chocolate. So I've actually got a Mr. Goodbar dark chocolate. I've got the dark chocolate miniature, so I've got dark chocolate crackles, I've got dark chocolate Mr. Goodbars, and then I've got dark chocolate, just regular Hershey bars. They're actually left over from my Hershey trip back in July. And my local grocery store here has the miniature bags. So I always get a bag of miniature Reese's and then a miniature bag of, you know, something else, whether it's, you know, Kit Kats or, you know, they had the dark chocolate variety bags, miniature sizes. You know, that's my breakfast at work, maybe. I've also got a box of Crackle bars and a box of Take Fives. So, you know, usually, you know, only about 200 calories in the full candy bars. So, you know, breakfast for me is usually like a, you know, a Propel or a 0-calorie Gatorade or something, and then, you know, candy bar to get the juices flowing a little bit. Nothing that's gonna make me crash or anything. Triple Tower, that's right. So, I think that's the thought. So before we wrap up, anyone headed off to any parks this weekend? Where are you guys headed? Where are you guys going? What are your guys' thoughts on the weekend? What do you got coming up? Cedar Point Friday for Ryan. Cedar Point for Rob. Adam Beard, yep. Who the hell's gonna ride the middle? Well, that was my thought. I'm fine if you have two of them. You have one that's like family, that's maybe like 60 feet tall, and then maybe you got a 200-foot one. But who is gonna ride the middle one? It's like, you're either gonna ride the shortest one because you want to ride but you're scared of heights, or you're gonna ride the tallest one because you're folks like us who want the biggest thrill, right? Nobody's gonna ride the middle one. So maybe that's a reason to ride the middle one, is because it's not going to have it's going to have the shortest line. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Michigan's Adventure is one of those parks that you just kind of you have to decide you're going to go to it and then go. Because if you sit around and think about it, you're just not going to do it, is the problem. You're not going to do it. It's one of those parks that if you sit around and think about it and think about doing it, you're not going to do it. And it's really one of those that you have to just say, yes, I'm going this weekend, go. And I went on a Saturday 4th of July weekend, got fast lane, and just did it. I, for like 2.5 years, said I was going to go, especially when I was co-oping in Buffalo, because Buffalo's an hour, you know, Buffalo's only about 3 to 4 hours from Cedar Point, and Michigan's Adventure is maybe 4 hours past that. So I said, I can take a holiday weekend, and Michigan's Adventure on my weekend it did, because I did it on a Saturday, a 4th of July weekend. I've heard most other times you don't need it, but some of their coasters only do one train. Like the Corkscrew only does one train. The Little Wood Coaster only does one train. Wolverine Wildcat only had one train that was only running one train. The SLC actually had to take their second train off at one point. Shivering Timbers, I think, is the only one that consistently is running multiple trains. If you're there on a Tuesday, Adam, I think you're going to be fine. I can't see you having any problems. But again, that's the nice thing about Fastlane. You don't necessarily have to get it in advance. So if you go there and you end up having some big lines, you can do it. I think I rode Shivering Timbers like 10 to 15 times during my trip there. I don't know. I have the count in my spreadsheet here. I can really find it. Shivering Timbers. Yeah, 15. 15 rides on Shivering Timbers. So, you know. But Tuesday, I think, I have a hard time thinking you're going to have any issues at all doing that. So there you go. Oh, my battery's running low. Better go get my plug. Well, with that, do you guys have, if Shivering Timbers is, yeah, Shivering Timbers, hold on one second, let me go get my plug for my computer here. Yeah, Shivering Timbers for me was like one of those coasters that I said, yeah, I need to get to. You know, I think everyone's got one or two coasters that, you know, they always watch videos of and always say, yeah, I need to get there. And Shivering Timbers was that coaster for me for a very, very long time. Shivering Timbers to me, it's not as intense as El Toro. It's got a lot of floating airtime. I think I kind of partnered Shivering Timbers with like Ravine Flyer. It reminded me very much of Ravine Flyer, even though, you know, the layout's very different. Shivering Timbers is not a terrain ride at all. You immediately want to compare it to El Toro because it looks exactly the same. I liked Shivering Timbers better than El Toro because it, you know, it had the real wood coaster feel to it that I always talk about, and you know, people get on me for that. But the first like the outrun with the, you know, the first like 4 or 5 hills on the outrun are much like Voyage's big hills, although I think during the day, so for Adam here, in the morning, it does not run that fast. I will give you that. I will tell you that. You know, we've discussed this before, how the wood coasters always get faster as the day goes on. I rode it in the morning, and I liked it. I would say it was maybe like a top 15, top 20 coaster or so. I went back later in the day, went faster. Went back around like 5, 6 o'clock, and I was blown away by how much faster it was and how much better the airtime was, even by like 4, 5, 6 o'clock. And it was really hot the day I was there too. Helix at the end, great finale. It's got a trick track in the middle towards the beginning of the return run. But the airtime on the outrun, I would say, is better than the airtime on the first 2 or 3 hills of Voyage. It's maybe very comparable though. Especially if you can get a little bit of space between yourself and the lap bar, you really get that float. I preferred front seat on Shivering Timbers. It was retracked in 2014, so generally it's pretty smooth. It's got a couple of kinks here and there, but I mean, nothing to be concerned about at all. I preferred the front. I rode a couple times in the back as well, but I was a front seat. Lover on Shivering Timbers. Mostly floater airtime. Have a good night, Dwayne. Dwayne's heading out for the night. Not a whole lot of ejector airtime, like extreme ejector airtime, but tons and tons of floater. The return run is really a lot of floater. In the morning, in the first few hours a day, the outrun is floater too. But in the front seat later in the day, the airtime kind of turns into ejector, just because of how fast you're going over those hills. Very good coaster though. I really enjoyed Shivering Timbers a lot. So. Any other questions or concerns? Anything you guys want to share before I log off for the night? Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, be excited for it. It's a great coaster. I mean, it's custom coaster, but you know, it's a great roller coaster. It really is a great ride. Be excited for it. It's definitely a bucket list coaster because it's so far away from everything else. It's definitely a bucket list coaster for sure. Great America 2017. Yeah, Free Fly is kind of sounding like what's going on right now. I hope not. I think it's even a worse fit there than it is at Great Adventure, but I mean, we've seen weirder things in this world, so God bless custom coasters. That's right. Godspeed. Yeah, add Shivering Timbers to your bucket list, Rob, and you're close enough that you can actually get up there. You can definitely get up there. Yes, indeed. Alright, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for me tonight. I'm gonna get off of here, because I want to get another good night's sleep, considering, you know, trying to make sure, since I only had, you know, had the flight delays and the late arrival back, you know, want to make sure I'm getting my sleep this week. So, Leviathan or Behemoth? I'm partial to Behemoth. Still partial to Behemoth, ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. Both great coasters, though. Love them both. And that's changed. Initially, I preferred Behemoth. I switched back over to being a Leviathan fan when I went up there in the summer. Because Behemoth is kind of an anytime coaster. Behemoth is actually more of a cold weather coaster. Because when it's colder, the trims don't hit. And on Leviathan's speed is noticeably slower when it's colder. So I think if you go in like July or August, you're gonna prefer Leviathan. The problem is if you've already ridden Fury 325, Leviathan's probably gonna disappoint you, whereas Behemoth is gonna be exactly what you expect it to be. So that may kind of push you towards the Behemoth side of things a little bit. So I'm gonna be, Adam, it's gonna be interesting to hear your take, having already been on Fury and now going to Leviathan. I think you may end up being a Behemoth fan, but you know, I don't know. I am honestly interested in hearing what your thoughts are, because they're both fantastic coasters. So. Alright, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to get on off of here. Again, Andy and I will be doing a show tomorrow night. We will be talking all things Lightning Rod and Dollywood from the weekend. Hopefully going to have that up for you Friday. Not sure if we're going to go live on here tomorrow or not. Again, if we do, you'll only hear my side of the conversation just because of some of the limitations we have. As soon as I get into my new house here, we're going to start doing things a little bit differently, and hopefully going to be able to have you guys do some live look-ins and watch all our videos. So again, thanks for hopping on tonight, just talking some coasters. Again, we're going to try and do something like this every Monday, I think, to kind of weekend in review, talk about what you guys have done over the weekend. Very informal, you know, and just have a lot of fun talking about coasters, and you know, and then we'll download those videos and put them on YouTube. We're working on figuring out how exactly the best way to do that is, but I think that's what we're going to look into doing. So again, thanks for joining, and keep an eye out on the Facebook page tomorrow. If we decide to do Facebook Live for the show tomorrow, you're certainly more than welcome to join us and look in and kind of get the first scoop, what we thought of Lightning Rod. We also did a live video for our ride over the weekend, so you know, you can check that out. It's about a half an hour. You get the queue, you get some buffery on-ride audio from our ride. My phone was in Andy's pocket. Buffered quite a bit, but you get our initial reactions right as we get on the brake run, and you start to hear it pretty well again. So check that out as well, and we'll give you the full breakdown tomorrow night, and then have it up for you on Friday, hopefully. So again, thanks for joining us. Have a great night, guys. Thanks. See you next time. Peace out.